She's joining us, I believe, on a Zoom, and so
Okay.
we get to talk to her. And look, stress is what the topic has been all morning. You and I talking about how to manage stress.
Yes, we got to manage stress. Where is she? I see her now. I see her on the monitor. I'm looking for the monitor.
Hi, Dr. Carmichael. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you, Scott?
You know, we're doing pretty good. We know that you are obviously a clinical psychologist, PhD, author of a book called Nervous Energy, and a lot of what we get to talk about today is in that book. The first thing we want to talk about, obviously, it's been I don't know about you, but this pandemic caused a little stress for some of us. Talk about some of the stress and how people are coping these days.
Yes, definitely. So I actually called the book Nervous Energy, Harness the Power of Your Anxiety, because what I've been so impressed with is that many people are taking this stress and they're using that little boost of energy that Mother Nature does give us with anxiety, and they're using it to fuel their self-care and their productivity, which is exactly the way that Mother Nature intended it.
Okay, well, you've got this book, Nervous Energy, and we're talking obviously about that book. You get a lot of things inside that book. You deal with highly successful people. They have stress levels. How about their stress levels compared to average people's stress levels?
Like us.
Like Scott and I.
Well, you know, the thing is that although my book does say that I work with what's called high-functioning people, Scott and Gary, you all are probably higher functioning than you realize. And my guess is that many of your listeners are too. So if you are someone that can, say, set an alarm clock and get and be somewhere on time, then in psychology parlance, you would be higher functioning than you think, right? People who can have good relationships and learn new skills. In psychology, we look at that as high functioning.
All right.
Wow.
I love that. And this idea of nervous energy that you're talking a lot about, I've met a guy named Gary Gelfand who I believe has a little bit of nervous energy from time to time. Tell us,
Lucky you, Gary.
what does it mean?
Well, what it means is that the healthy function of anxiety is to stimulate preparation behaviors. So, for example, if you were feeling a little boost of anxiety about going to a social gathering because it's been a long time since the pandemic, the healthy function of that little anxiety tickle would maybe be to get you to, say, think of a few small talk conversation topics or brush up on your social skills before you go to the party. As a psychologist, what I noticed is that the difference between people who were anxious and went on to be successful versus not is that the successful people were able to take that anxiety and use it as a boost, because we do get a little extra adrenaline. We just need to make sure that we channel that energy into the right direction so that we're actually working on our stressor instead of just chasing our tail and running in circles.
That's good.
Oh, there you go.
Like that.
Yeah, just putting together these cards today with these questions. I had so much anxiety making sure that I was going to make sure to ask her the proper questions. What about a to-do list and emotions? I mean, everyone to put down all these different to-do lists. Tell us about that a little bit. I know that's in your book.
Yeah. Sure. So the to-do list with emotions is one of my favorite techniques in Nervous Energy, Harness the Power of Your Anxiety, because that's what it does, is the power of it. So suppose that you have a to-do list and you suddenly find yourself either procrastinating or you're doing everything, but you're just feeling like a hamster on a wheel, feeling really empty. What we would do is we would look at your to-do items. Then we'd find out what's the emotion that occurs to you with that item. And then what's the self-care plan? So for example, I had a client that was supposed to help his mom clean out the attic, but he just kept putting it off. He felt like a terrible son. He said, "What's wrong with me?" And I said, "Okay, what's the emotion behind that task?" And he said, "Honestly, it's fear, because I feel like this means I'm getting to the end of my mom's life and I'm not ready for that." So I said, "Okay, what's the self-care plan that awareness can fuel?" And what it was to do one of those legacy interviews on camera where he used that anxiety about his mom eventually departing, which is a fact, and he used that anxiety to care for that in a positive, constructive way, which was to make a good legacy interview video and capture all the good memories. Then he was able to help his mom clear out the attic with a clear conscience.
How about
There
that
you go.
for a pivot? Love that.
Awesome.
Dr. Carmichael, thank you so much. We're going to put up some information so that people know where to get your book, a little more information about you.
Yeah.
Have a great Friday and rest of your weekend. You can interact with her right on social, too, at Dr. Chloe _ nervousenergybook.com is where you can find that read.
Very interesting stuff.